Okay, last year I did a seminar about Zbrush, and today I want to show you some hard surface sculpting techniques. It's not that you only can use them for Zbrush. They are concepts you can also use in principle in Maya or in Blender. And I'm going to show you some rapid prototyping stuff. It's a printing method where you print out your 3D sculpts with different techniques. Okay. Basically, digital modeling is nothing new. 3D objects consist of vertices in 3D space, and they are connected via polygons. That's nothing new. And you can, these are the elements that 3D models consist of. And this is, for example, in Blender. And you can create primitives, spheres, cubes, toruses, or more complex stuff, like digital head or something. It's nothing new. Okay, we all knew this, and of course, old school things are cool, but using old techniques like sculpting in 3D, like they are invented 20 years ago, is, in my opinion, a waste of time. It's good to know the old principles from the old masters, and inventing something new isn't necessary. But at the end of this, I'm going to show you to use these old techniques like sculpting in Blender, 3D head, combined with the features used in the concepts used in Zbrush. And if you combine them new, then you're reinventing the whole thing. And just for, I know there are guys doing on Amiga, and I love Amiga, and I love C64, but if they're just using, for example, Lightwave, and they would create their models pure with the original Lightwave on Amiga, okay, then stay there. And but if you use the old concepts and go a step ahead, and then you can go back and create something new. And I want to show you some work I did with Zbrush. With modern tools and new techniques. These are some pictures I created entirely in Zbrush. And of course you can't put this on an Amiga, I know, but you can put the idea and the techniques and transfer it to old school platforms. There's a whole lot of faking here with Photoshop and so on, I know this, but the amount of detail you get with Zbrush and work less, but work smart, then you can do stuff like that, and beyond that, it's not limited. And Zbrush gives the ability to come up with new sculpting ideas beyond yourself. And this is not much more work than I would. It's just tools that I use. So. Okay, it's a little bit of pose, but okay.
Besides the coding, we also search for...
What is Zbrush? If you never worked with it before, it's basically a sculpting tool. You work with traditional, like you would do with clay, and you can add stuff, or you can carve into the surface. This is a basic sphere, and you can pull out stuff, or you can carve into the surface. You can smooth out the edges, or you can raise the resolution, and you have different stroke types. You can, now I raised the resolution, so you can go deeper in there. And you can use so-called alphas. These are grayscale images, and you can carve with them directly on your surface. You can also directly paint onto the surface. It's called polypainting. And you can apply textures or stuff directly on your surface. This is what Zbrush basically is. You can also use shaders, so-called matcaps, and change the material qualities, and you can create your own, or you can download them for free, or that gives a variety of options. That is what basically Zbrush is. Pixology came up with a new feature called Dynamesh. They adapted this from the free product Sculptors. You can download it for free if you want to get in 3D modeling and look if it's yours. And there's a huge community where you can ask questions, and it's great. And if you want to dig deeper, you can buy Zbrush. I'm not from Pixologic. I don't want to sell you Zbrush, but I bought it in 2004. And every upgrade or update that comes out, I get for free. And it's amazing, I mean. And they don't put stuff in just for the sake of bringing out new stuff. They put thought out material into this. And it's really cool. And the new feature, one of the new features is called Dynamesh. What it basically does is when you start with a sphere, and you pull out polygons out of it, then of course you lose resolution on some point. You can raise the resolution, but that won't solve the problem. I just pull out here something, and if I add some detail here where I didn't touch the surface, and I brush in here, you see you lose resolution because the structure of the whole mesh isn't evenly spread. And this problem occurs. And now I think I did a remeshing. This restructures the internal structure of the model. And I think I have another demonstration. Now I'm remeshing. The structure, the form stays the same. It consists, now the internal structure, the structure changes, the form stays the same, basically. And if I pull out, the problem still occurs. But if I clean the mask on the canvas and do this again, then Zbrush remeshes the whole structure. And from there, I can go further, and I can pull out polygons here. And now I'm doing another remeshing. And so you don't have to do your base mesh in another application like Blender or Maya or Zbrush or Cinema 4D. And to demonstrate this, I'm adding some detail here with a standard alpha brush. And then I go to the top and add the same quality here. This is what's Dynamesh. And they adapted this technique from the free Sculptors program, and Pixologic bought the whole team from the Sculptors creators. And this is amazing. At first, I had to go plan ahead. Okay, I want to do a 4-horned beast with 3 legs. And I had to go in Blender or in Maya and create the base mesh. And then I had to go into Zbrush and detail further. And this lets you be absolute creative, what you can do with this. It gives you a creative tool. And you can create a set of ears. You can create a set of ears, for example, or noses, and then apply them to the base mesh. And this becomes one. It's not animatable at this stage. It's not perfect, but this is concept stage. And you can duplicate these cubes, for example, and then doing all, remeshing again, and so on. And I can also put the whole thing as a new brush. And this gives you really great ways to be creative with this stuff. Zbrush comes with demonstration ear. So imagine you create one base ear or a set of ears or noses. It's not perfect. I had to raise the resolution here. But okay, the art director comes. You have to create 10 concept sketches for the next super movie, and you're what the fuck? And you have your ear set, you have your nose set, you have your and so on. You have your arms, and then you construct your base meshes in this software. You can also cut these things into half, like you would do with normal clay. Then I mask out the top. First I had to Dynamesh it. I mask, invert the mask. I can take this piece and place it there, duplicate it, place it in another position, and remesh it again. And this is amazing. I mean, as said, it's not animatable at this point. It's a polycrap. It's completely polycrap. But we're in concepting stage, and Zbrush gives you the possibilities to remesh the whole thing and create, for example, your low poly model. I take the standard, the default soldier, and just to show you what you can do with it. It's nothing new, but you can add 4 arms just to come up with new ideas. I slice him here. Just for the sake of concept art. Now I think I go crazy. I mean, I insert 4 noses on his chest. It's crazy, I know, but this gives you new ideas in crazy concept. Okay, a common misbelief is that Zbrush is for organic modeling only. Years ago, that was the case, but I'm going to show you these hard surface sculpting techniques where you can go and create robots or mechanical stuff. Okay, what I'm doing here. If I don't want to be without reference. If I want to create a 4-horned beast with 2 legs, then I would look in the internet for wolves or beasts and take them as a reference. This approach is good, but sometimes you have to let things happen. And if I'm starting a sculpt, this is highly sped up. I'm just using clay brushes. I'm looking what happens. I'm not planning this. I'm just carving into the surface. Okay, there needs to be some more volume, or I can negatively insert cylinders, for example, to carve into the surface. And I'm roughly sketching out my base form that I like. It's nothing. It's nothing. It should just be a kind of mechanical heart or a bone structure or something like that. I don't use special brushes, I use clay brushes, I use trimmed brushes. They are very well documented on the Pixelogic website. If you watch the tutorials, you get you can use them after 2 hours or so. And this is not exactly hard surface sculpting. This is almost the thing I'm going to look. But this is just the base shape I'm looking for. Smoothing things out, trimming things, pinching edges together. Nothing new, nothing. You can do this with Blender. The features are in Blender for free if you want to.
What's the real-time time you took?
Oh, 3 or 4 hours. It's highly sped up, as I said, but I wanted to show you something finished. But if I work here with it, you are going to be bored. And some things I inserted this and undo this again. It's just what will this be? Like an artist that throws color on a canvas and turns it and says, okay, cool, this is a bird or something. These are some new curve insert brushes. You can directly insert curve types or tubes in there. It looks like I'm stuck here a little bit. Okay. At the end, after an hour later, yeah. I got this. It's pretty organic stuff. It has some mechanical qualities, but it doesn't push the environment. I want to make real hard stuff. And now there comes some boring retopology work. You can also do this with Blender. They are not that perfect like in Zbrush, but what I do is to create a new grid on top of the model. These are done with the Z-sphere feature from Zbrush, and this. You also would do this when your high res character would go to an engine, and you would need a lower polygon model. And this is super boring stuff. You go there and you trace your whole 3D model. And then you would go there and extrude the planar faces, and you have a low poly representation of your high poly model.
But you need to do this manually?
Yeah, there's coming up a plugin that's called QRemesher, and I think there's in Modo some I don't know. There are plugins out there or standalone software where you can do remeshing semi-automated. But I haven't the features yet, so I use them. I use the traditional way. So I have all my pieces as a representation, and I put them in a group. And you see, there's the original sketch underneath, and I pushed it here and there that I have some material in the in-betweens. Okay? And the problem is, if I would raise the resolution of the single subtools here, I would get a smooth version of it. And so I use a technique with creasing the edges. I tell some I take this piece and I temporarily hide the plates I don't want to have. And I'm just hiding this. And I want to have these edges staying hard in the subdividing process. You can see it here. I click the button called crease. And if I'm raising the resolution here, voila, this is what I'm looking for. I have hard edges, razor sharp edges. And you can use this technique in Blender as well. It's just a concept. Here I just raised the resolution. I'm going to undo this here. And just as a second example, I'm hiding these ones. If someone has Zbrush on your computer, I can show you this if you're interested. I want to have these edges hard. I raise the resolution, and I have razor sharp edges. And this is like every you play Metal Gear Solid or something, and these bots all look like this. And I did a picture for Tomb. First, there's the whole model remeshed. I don't know what this piece is, but it's hard surface. And the cool thing is, you have these single pieces as subtools, and you can use the standard brushes to detail them any further. You can, if my system is capable of handling 6 million polygons per subtool, you can any subtool can handle 6 million polygons. This is great. I don't know how they do it, but it's pretty amazing. And this is a picture I released for Tomb, and it looks complex, but basically, it was nothing but the techniques I showed you. And these brushes, like these loudspeakers or so, are brushes you can use as, you can insert it. You can insert a nose, so you can insert a loudspeaker. Okay? And the magic happens, I think, in the post-processing. If I'm creating something like this, I need to use Photoshop. And I render out the single pieces with a flat shader that's basically white and different colors. And I render out a path for the breastplate, for example, or the helmet. And then I render with different shaders. And in Photoshop, I can pick a color from the selector. And then I can say, okay, how does this look in red, or how does this look in green? And there is where the most power comes from. Get out of 3D as soon as possible. Go in post. If you're doing demos, do this stuff in post. Use the concepts photographers would do. Okay. Any questions? Okay, rapid prototyping. If I'm creating a piece like the previous one, I can print it out, I can use it on screen. But if I want to do it I want to have it in the real world, I use a technique. There are factories who print out your 3D models. You create a jewelry, a ring or something, with Zbrush or Blender, and you send it to them. There's a shop called Shapeways in the Netherlands, and they have different materials like plastic or ceramics or stainless steel or silver. And you print out your 3D model. And what I did, a friend of mine wanted a little thing for his wife, and I created this in Zbrush. There are the initials for the kids and his wife. Just a shamrock-like heart with the initials on. He'd like that, and I sent it to Shapeways. You send them the STL file. A STL file is a data format, industrial standard for prototyping or CAD stuff. And after 1 week or so, I got this. These are my size of my hands. You see what you get. And this is, did cost $38 or so. And it's not perfect. They are polishing it, but on the small parts, they don't get with their, they can't polish it perfectly. But the technique's improving, and there are some limitations. You have, I think, for sterling silver, you have 0.2 millimeters in detail, but you can't use, for example, a thing like that and add a sphere that size. There's a ratio you have to be aware of, or your stuff will break. But they check your model, and if you send it to them, after an hour you get an email, and they say, okay, your stuff is printable or it isn't. They're pretty cool. They're not the only factory they do this, but yeah, they're nice. And for the example of shapeways, they don't allow models higher than 1 million polygons. And if you use Zbrush models, you have 10 million or higher models, then you're okay. And then there's a plugin built in Zbrush. It's called Decimation Master and Print Exporter. And this is what they look like. And you can pre-process your current model. And Zbrush, or the plugin, looks which faces are obsolete and which you don't need. And they create, Decimation Master creates polycrap. And it's not a model you can work on anymore, but it's optimized for the printing process. And there's the 3D print exporter. You can use different output formats like STL or OBJ or VRML. And you can also, there are different materials. There's, for example, color sandstone. And you can print out a model with your texture on it. And you can see it here, but there's also the option to export the texture information. I haven't printed one yet, but I heard the sandstone models are very rigid and can break very, very easy. And this is what Decimation Master does. This is my original model. On the left has 3 million polygons. On the right side is 300K polygons. And it optimizes, I have another picture, in comparison. At first sight you won't recognize it. Okay? And this program works really well. I think it's better than the decimation stuff in Blender, but I'm not into that anymore. Prices and technical advice. I also told you, don't, on their website they have an advice how much detail your model can have, for example, for this specific material or so. And just to give you an idea of the prices, there's different plastic materials that start at $1.5. Aluminum, glass, stainless steel, you can print out in steel. It's like they print out very fine metal powder, layer above, layer by layer. And then this is called the A state or something. And then this goes to the oven, and the particles melt like you would have on an engine block or something. And you get your model, and it's pretty cool, I think. You can also print in ceramics, but don't let this price fool you. It's by the one is by cubic centimeter, and the other is by the surface. And if you print out a cup or something, you get the same price as plastic or glass. I think this was half an hour. I wanted to do it in 1 hour. But better informing stuff or interesting stuff than getting you bored to death, I think. If someone has a question or doesn't find the menu in Zbrush, I'm here till Monday, okay? And I recommend, if you are new to 3D stuff, download sculptures from Pixelogic. Then you can start not overwhelmed by the whole menu structure that could. I don't want you to lose the interest on this. It's really great, I think, and I hope you enjoyed the show. And see you next year. What I think I do.
I got some questions.
Oh, excuse me.
What about the polish tools in Zbrush? You only talk about how you subdivide it, but
Yeah.
not about the polish tools or the flatten tools.
There are great tools. There are polish tools, like you told us. There are trim dynamic brush. There are trim adaptive. There are pinching brushes where you can pull together rows of vertices to get a hard edge. And you can go in there and you can use the edge polish brush, for example, and you can polish it and you can go pretty hard in the surface. You can get pretty hard quality out of it. But to push it to the limit, I would recommend to remesh it. Wherever you do it, you can go to, there are auto retopo tools. And then you come back into Zbrush, say, okay, this edge should be hard, and use this by the crease button, and then you have the perfect model. If you, you can take a shader with a very glossy surface, a matte cap or so, and then if you want a perfect surface, you get, the polished brushes are pretty cool. I love them and I use them. But you don't get the quality of the perfect surface. Imagine it if you're in Illustrator and you can draw a curve with 100 points, or you can draw a curve with 3 points. And you get the optimum out of that. And I would highly recommend to, it's more work, but you are at a better point there. You can go to you can further detail this, and you have to split it up anyway. If you moment, where is it? Let me take this example again, please. This is a subtool. And this is a subtool. And I could put more detail into it if I want to. And you can get this edge. You can get this edge you see there by polishing it and so on. But you want to go further and you want to carve screws in there and bolts and nuts. And you have a whole set you have 20 subtools in there. But you can go into detail, and your work will be better with this technique.
I know that Zbrush has less problems with this than Maya, but a while ago I looked into 3D printing of objects.
Excuse me, sorry.
It's not really working. I looked into more Maya printing, not so much Zbrush printing, and your model had to really pertain to a lot of standards to be able to be printed, such as it had to be all one mesh, you couldn't have intersection. How does that
I know this
out?
problem. I had this problem. A client of mine, I had, I did a caduceus, like two snails on a stick with wings, and I did every little feather, and I put it in there, and I exported it, and the internal structure was one single polygroup, but you have a multi-shell object actually, and I use a program called NetFab or MeshLab, and you can clean up you can get information how much volume you have and so on. But the client called me and said, hey, this isn't printable, it's a multi-shell version. And I was, what the fuck? I hadn't this problem, and the client of my client was on a printing service. They hadn't the software to automatically make one piece out of it. I had to do a workaround and told this to the customer, to the client, and basically I took a balloon, throw just a symbol. I took a balloon, throw the 3D piece into there, and deflated it. So just like Dynamesh, it's the principle of Dynamesh. But you lose, it's just a concepting tool, and you lose detail by that. I told this to the client, and the problem was I created an Ouroboros. It's a dragon with that bites itself in the tail, and it consisted of two pieces of a head and the whole body structure, and they fixed it on the same printing surface, but didn't tell me. And I thought, okay, this is the perfect workflow. It works for the client, and I don't have the money to buy a $4,000 product to get the Boolean options to make one piece out of it. So I go to Shapeways. Maybe they're not the best printings. I don't know. I don't know them. I just printed out two things of them. But you send it there, even if it consists of multi-parts. You reduce the single parts with decimation master, put it into one single polygroup, and send it there. And if they're intersecting shells, then they have no problem with it. And why should I? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a follow-up question: how long does it take for one to be printed by Shapeworks?
I think the plastic stuff for nylon, it's 1 week or 3 working days or something, but the metallic stuff like stainless steel or silver takes up to 3 weeks. I don't know. Okay. But I think this is really cool, and if the 3D printers are affordable in high detail, I'm going to get one. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay. Thank you very much.